And we're back in the studio, and we were talking about Microsoft in our last segment, and now we're going to talk about Sharp. We're going to come back to Microsoft real quick after this talk about Sharp, because there is something interesting brewing, that definitely we want to hear, what Devin thinks about that, especially coming from the top CEO world, that he has come from. This is definitely something that's interesting with Microsoft. But let's take a break from Microsoft real quick and talk about the Sharp PNK32 2B. Now, I mean, why do they companies? That's one of my questions. When you come out with names, why can't you just come out with a console name that people can remember? Nobody's gonna remember PK32 2B. I'm not going to walk into the store and say, hey, you got a Sharp 3K32 2B. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say, do you have a Sharp 4K monitor? So if they're going to come up with these monitors, why don't they come up with sensible names for these things? Sharp unveils its first 4K Ultra HD TV for the U.S. market. Now, at Sharp CES press conference, that they had earlier this year, they said that they announced that they had plans to bring not just one, but two Ultra HD TVs to the U.S. this year. The company hopes its Ultra Aquos HD and ICC Prios will once again ignite interest in television that's quickly becoming the most lethargic and commodified segment of the electronic industry. Now, the 60-inch Prios sets merges one of the company's Ultra HD LCD panels with iCube Research Center's integrated cognitive creation image processor in order to create a more lifelike, realistic, detailed image. That's what they're doing, making it mimicking a 3D feel without really being 3D, but the depth and the color and the clarity gives the illusion of 3D without that stereoscopic feel. In other words, it doesn't send two images. It doesn't send one image to one eye, one image to the next. No, but what it does is the clarity is so great that it allows you to see greater detail even in the distance, and so it mimics. Because when I first looked at the new iPad, the sharpness of the iPad, when they said Retina display, the sharpness of the iPad definitely had a 3D feel to it. It wasn't 3D, but it definitely had a 3D feel because of the clarity of the system, of the iPad, the Retina display. Now, for those of you who don't understand Retina display just means it's the maximum resolution that your retinas, that your eyes can really detect before it becomes undetectable. So these new Sharp TVs, this new Sharp TVs, this new Sharp Ultra K 32-inch monitor / TV that's coming out, Sharp is unveiling, and they're saying that this thing is in Ultra HD 4K. Now, here's my problem with it. This is a 32-incher, and they say it's going to be fitted with edge-mounted LED backlighting technology and measures just 36 millimeters thick. The Sharp PNK32 2B also comes supplied with a digital pen, they're saying, and an IGZO panel technology offering 3840 by 2160 pixel resolution at 60 frames per second. So not only is this thing clear, but it's also going to move pretty fast. So gaming and stuff like that. So that's definitely high definition. The problem is without it being and this is not full 4K, because full 4K would be over 4,000 lines of resolution, and 2140, but it'll have for the horizontal over 4,000 lines of resolution. But they do dub this one 4K because it's close 4,000 lines of resolution. However, this thing, even though it's going to come with two HDMI ports and one display port, it's going to use the indium gallium zinc oxide active layer that gives you 10 finger gesture support, 10 touch gesture support. Now, no information on pricing or anything was available, but just so you know, 4K monitors, like I said, there's going to be a lot of people coming up with 4K TVs, but you don't truly see the difference between a 4K TV and a good 1080p, because they make cheap 1080p TVs that are not as clear as others. You get a good 1080p high definition TV and a 4K TV, if the size is not big enough, you're not going to see that much of a difference, and that's the thing. So if this thing is going to come out, at $700 or something like that, I mean, for a 32-incher, $400, okay, well, you get it just to get it, because it's around the same price as a regular monitor, 32-inch anyway. But if this thing is going to come out at $1,000, $2,000, no, I would not buy it, simply because at 32 inches, it's not, although that resolution is good, but if you get a good 1080p TV at 32 inches, your eyes won't notice the difference, because you have to remember, the smaller the TV, the tighter the resolution, because the more compact the picture, and so they're able to make the resolution look clearer naturally by it being smaller. The bigger the TV, it's going to be spread out, you see, and that's what makes 4K different when you get the bigger sizes like the 65 inches, 60, 65, 75, 80 inch. That's what makes 4K, because 4K has much more lines of resolution, and so therefore it can fill the screen with more detailed image. However, in the 1080 world, because you're stretching that image, that's when you start to see pixelization and so forth. But when you get a 4K monitor that's 32 inches and a 1080p monitor that's 32 inches, the screen size, the resolution is much smaller than the 65 inch, so it's harder to see the difference. You'll know you have 4K because you know you went out and bought it. It's kind of like people who buy an Armani suit and they walk around and say, yo, this is Armani. It's like, yeah, well, you better write that on the suit, because other than that, it just looks like any suit, So it's just one of those things where you have to be able to decide what's more cost effective, and some things are placebo effect. So would I buy this 32-inch 4K monitor? No, I wouldn't buy it. Depending on the features that it has. If it have 10-point touch like it say it's going to have, if it had a voice command activation, a camera built in, stuff like that, that might make me lean more towards getting it because of the functionality. But just the fact that to say it's 4K, no. Because at that size, you're not really going to appreciate the 4K aspect of it like you would if it was much bigger. So don't get too don't get too happy about that right there. Now, for something that you might want to get happy about, we're talking about the Motorola Droid. You remember Motorola Droid came out a while ago? That was a phone that was actually very popular. Well, Motorola, a Google company, as we know now, because we know that Motorola changed their logo to accommodate the fact that they're a Google company. Motorola is making the Droid Ultra, and it's going to feature Kevlar casing. So if you're someone who is in that, you're in the FBI or you're in the police force, you want a durable phone that can take a bullet, this new Kevlar casing might just be what you're looking for. Last week we heard something about new Motorola smartphones, and one of those is the new Motorola Droid Ultra. And now a placeholder page for the handset has appeared on Motorola's website. So we know this thing is coming, and according to the placeholder page for the Droid Ultra, the handset will feature a Kevlar body. The device will also be thin, according to the tagline that appeared on Motorola's website, and we're going to show you this the clip of what they had on their website talking about the Droid Ultra. They'll say available in a bunch of glossy colors, high-grade plate, high-grade DuPont Kevlar body, proves that you can be even thinner and still be as tough as steel. Now, as yet, we don't have any specifications on the Droid Ultra or anything like that, like camera, screen size, resolution, memory. We don't have anything like that yet on the site for the existing Razr M smartphone listed on Motorola's site. But As soon as we get that information, we will let you know. But for right now, we're showing you that Motorola is making the Droid Ultra with that Kevlar body. So if you're looking, I mean, if you're a cop, you know, and you're saying, man, I wish they would come out with a phone that allowed me to take a bullet, you know, in the middle of an action. Well, you might just be getting your wish with this Kevlar body phone. This thing is definitely going to be top notch if this is true. But Motorola does have this on their website. And here's the posting that they put on their website right here about the thinness. I think you can see that right there, but it says think thin, and it tells you what they're talking about with the Droid Ultra. So if you're someone that you know, looking for that tough phone, looking for that phone that you can't get anywhere else, I mean, you're not going to get a phone with Kevlar body just anywhere. So Motorola definitely is, you know, a pioneer in that way. Now, here's another story that I wanted to get to, and I see Devin is back in the studio, you know, milling around and stuff like that, you know. And so here's a story that I wanted to get to, but we're coming up on a break. But I'm just going to throw out the initial, and we're going to really get into this after the break comes. Now, there's been reports. Microsoft isn't saying anything yet, but there's been a report that Don Matrix, that's the guy, the CEO of Xbox, the one who came out and said all of those things, you know, he made all those announcements saying Xbox was going to track you and it had to be online and all of this stuff. Now a report is coming out by Digital Trends that Microsoft and Don Matrix are parting ways. Many people are saying that, you know, this Xbox debacle might have had something to do with it. We're going to talk about that coming up. I mean, now that Don Matrix is leaving, and according to them, he's leaving to be the CEO of Zynga. And as you know, Zynga is a social gaming site, and he's leaving to be the chief executive, the CEO of Zynga. So we're going to talk about that coming up after the break. Do you think that this is a direct result of the Xbox debacle, or is this just natural reshuffling? I mean, is this how it is in the world of CEOs? Our very own CEO Devin is going to attempt to answer that question when we come right back after the break. So just stay tuned right here on Tech Pulse. We'll be right back.